All right, we have Nickolas Gilbert, whose film Nailed you just saw with a couple other uproarious comedies. In fact, if we were sitting in the theater in two chairs on the stage, maybe, hopefully you would have some collaborators with you too, but I would just turn to you and I'd say, thank you for making an utterly hilarious, absurdist film. You just went, you just went for it. And I really appreciate the level of humor you've got there. So go ahead and tell me how what started you on making this one.
Well, great. Thanks a lot. It's really a pleasure to be here. Why did I start making Nailed? It actually came about when I was remodeling a kitchen of mine years and years and years ago. And I had torn down all the drywall and I had a bunch of paint, the stripper out, and I was removing the paint and it was really hot. So I don't know if it was just the combination of the heat and the paint fumes, but I was actually nailing in a nail and thinking about my brand new girlfriend, and one thing led to another, and that's how the script was born.
So you actually lived out the nail symbolism.
Yeah, symbolically, yes. Literally, no.
No. and then you turned it into so you sat down and just wrote it out for fun real quick. I mean, you came up with the unrequited love story and.
Yeah, I was really just thinking about the symbolism of the nail going into the wall and what that means or what it could mean, and the rest of the story kind of fell in place after that. And of course, like with any script, it goes through a number of rewrites, and the voiceover wasn't in there originally, and I wanted to get deeper into the characters a little bit, so I ended up adding that in one of the rewrites. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of a one-trick pony, one joke kind of a thing, so I wanted to add a little bit of depth to it, and that's also what led to the Super 8 stuff at the end, kind of putting this epilogue at the end and showing that their story turned out.
That is nice. I like the stuff you put at the end there. At Travel Town over in Burbank, right?
Yeah, it's the Griffith Park Railroad.
Griffith
right?
Park, yeah. Oh, when I was a kid, that's where everyone had their birthdays.
I still have my birthdays there.
Excellent choice. But you as much as we're talking about what a lark the film is, because it's just so fun and silly, but you actually did match. You made it look right for the story. It has such a vibrant. I mean, the colors are insane.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very
much. And like the accent and things you chose for voiceovers and things. Just completely communicate that this is like, it's almost like a silly Python sketch, where they are proudly silly.
It's a high compliment. Thank you very much.
It is a high compliment.
Well, visually, it was very much influenced by European cinema, especially the French cinema of Jean-Pierre Jeunet and Marc Caro, things like City of Lost Children, Delicatessen, Amelie, both in terms of the lens choices that we used and also, the color. Amelie, if you've seen it, it's a very green, has some blue accents and a lot of yellows in it. So it's not exactly the same palette, but we're looking for the same sort of saturation. And since we're doing a very twisted love story, I thought red would be a great color. And so we've got a lot of vibrant reds and oranges in it.
Which makes sense. Yeah, the saturation I can definitely see. I even remember the trailer for Delicatessen had squeaking bed and all that.
Yeah, actually, the trailer for Delicatessen was one of the first visual references I showed Keith Jeffries, who was our DP for this. And he'd seen it before, but it had been a number of years, so it was great. We looked at the trailer, and then we ended up sitting down and watching the entire film. I mean, you can't. You see the trailer, and you just got to watch it.
All his films are, I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, love it.
And so you wrote this script, and then you brought in, did you start in with your camera people and stuff? Did you start casting? What was your process?
Actually, so I worked with Steve Forbes, who plays the male lead. I made a series. Well, it was a short film, and we tried to expand it into a series, and that's still kind of in development. But it's called Through the Smokescreen, which is a neo-noir detective comedy. And he had a bit role in that, but he really knocked it out of the park. And he's just so good at the visual comedy. And writing this, where there's essentially no dialogue, and there's words, but there's never dialogue between the two characters. So I really wanted to get somebody who could really use his body and his gesticulation, his facial expressions to sell the drama and the comedy. And I think he did a great job. So he was my first choice, and I went right to him. We cast for Ferelith, and we looked at a lot of actresses. And as soon as I saw her, I knew that she could really nail it. And she really, really embodied the role. So once I had the casting down, actually the first thing, and I've worked with Keith Jeffries, our DP, before, so he was kind of my go-to. I didn't even consider getting anybody else to shoot this. But then production design was the first thing that we looked into. And I ended up hiring Aaron Major, who came on as our production designer. And we looked at lots of visual reference, again, the Jean-Pierre Jeunet stuff, Mark Haro stuff. And then really just kind of talked through the script. And we realized really early on, because of the gag, because of the hole in the wall, we couldn't find an existing apartment and destroy the wall. So we knew that it was a full build from day one. So we got together and we scouted a bunch of places, ended up finding a loft downtown in DTLA here in Los Angeles. And it was basically a full build and a full dress. It was almost an empty building that we got, and built the wall, and then brought in just about everything to decorate both sides of the apartment.
Yeah, I mean, it literally looks like you. The production design is amazing because I mean, it looks like they're both. Well, his apartment's less has less stuff in it, but it looks like one of those great antique stores you walk into that's just full of timely artifacts that just have a coolness to them.
Yeah, the idea, and some people have been confused, but it doesn't take place in the 80s as much as it is two people that used to be a couple back in the 80s and have, since their relationship fell apart, they've been stuck in the 80s. So we really wanted to have that vintage feel to it. And he has just moved into the apartment, so that's one of the reasons why his side is much more sparse than her side.
Yeah, he's just setting up. He's just hanging his wall art.
Yeah, he's just getting there. So there's a couple of things to note about the build. One, you'd think that it would be really easy to just build a flat to separate the two apartments, but he has to be nailing into the wall, and he has to be able to hang on to it. So just building something out of Luan like you regularly wouldn't work. And so this is one of Aaron Major, our production designer's great contributions, was figuring out how to build a wall that would be able to switch out for the different size holes and when he would be pounding in it. Because anytime we're going to do another take, it has to be a clean, pristine wall, and it has to be able to take all the force of pounding the nail in without shaking back and forth and looking like a set wall. So him and his team actually ended up building a full drywall wall that could break away into 3 parts, which was, for a project this size, really a really big build. And we had a pretty big construction and art department team, which I was really proud of for a project this level.
Yeah, so for this short, yeah, you really had some problem solving there.
Another thing in the production design that I'm really proud of is that we actually, none of the stuff on the television is keyed in. It's actually all live. And you can't go down to Best Buy and buy a TV like that is fully functional, it is in color, and it actually has the inputs to be able to run a composite signal into it. So it took, a couple of months going to thrift stores, and we realized we weren't going to find one that was working at a thrift store. And then just by chance, I found somebody in the Valley that is this kid that made a business of collecting old TVs, and he says he refurbishes them. I'm not sure what he does to them because he's like this 13-year-old kid with a screwdriver, but he had like 6 of them that he was selling on Craigslist, and we found it, and that was the one that we've been looking for 2 months.
And did you connect an old VCR to it, or?
Yeah, I actually played it back from my laptop. So I went from my laptop to a video out card, and then played the clip that we had previously shot, and then ran it into the composite.
Did you put in the waviness of videotape to it, or was that?
Yeah. So before principal production, we did kind of a quick shoot, which was the workout video. So we got another loft in downtown LA, shot all of that stuff, sent it to the editor. She put on all the digital hits and everything. And then played it back. And, we didn't have control like real video playback where you could get down frame to frame accuracy. We didn't have any playback person or the technology to do it. So getting it to line up to the right part of what she was working out at in our choreographed sequence took a number of takes, but I think that we got the continuity to match good enough that it sells. I hope so, anyway.
And this is proof to all the young filmmakers out there that when you write something fun, it turns into a lot of work.
Yes, it does. Yeah, it really does.
You besides the fact that you obviously didn't want to cut any corners, but yeah, to make this right, this took you. So how long, obviously, like with the loft, did you rent it for long enough that you had like a little bit of time to build it out?
There was definitely, no, we ran out of time. I think that we had it for a total of 2 days. No, we had it for 3 days, expecting that one day would be a full build. and then basically a day and a half of shooting, and then a strike day. But we ended up going much longer because the build was much bigger than we thought it would be. It really took a lot of time to bring in all the art department and for construction to build the wall and everything. So we didn't have nearly as much shooting time as we thought we would. So we ended up, and then the problem was that there was another event happening in the States on the next day. So we really couldn't get it for another date. So of course we ended up going late into the night, getting a couple of hours sleep, and then coming back the next morning and striking it to get out by like 11 a.m. when the dance crew was coming in for the next event. So it was it was a tight one.
Not casual at all.
No.
So all the breaking through tests you did with different materials and things, you did all that?
We did all that ahead of time. Yeah. So we really knew what we were doing. But that said, it was still a really big.
Did you have more than wall there so that like if the first hole, like, so it'd be the right size and shape, or?
We did. I think we switched the wall out 3 or 4 times for getting more than one take on the wall coming out, the big chunk that comes out of the wall. We reset it a couple of times to get fresh hits on the nail when it first goes in. It was also kind of a gag to get the nail in far enough that he could really, get a good grip on the hammer in there. So it took a little bit.
You had a couple hammer gags, and even though the nail was all the way in, he kept working it because he was getting that feedback. But also, right. The hole's perfect, right? Because when he turns and you get that shot,
yeah,
it's really, it just worked out. I assume that wasn't just a lucky first effort.
No, I mean, we storyboarded the whole thing. We knew exactly what we were going for. Actually, it took a lot of work so Aaron actually went and scored the back of the hole to the shape that we needed to get. But it was a challenge to know how far to go through to score it. And so on the first couple of takes, he couldn't pull out the chunk with the nail. And so we had to go back in and score it a little bit more and then try it again and a little bit more. But eventually we got it. Yeah, I think it's pretty seamless on the last.
Yeah.
Another fun anecdote, when you don't think about how much work it's actually going to take, is the picture. So in the script, I wrote it as a gaudy ripoff of Flaming June. And you would think that, okay, well, we'll just go out and find that somewhere or buy the poster of it and use it. But of course you can't do that because it's going to be copyrighted, whatever you found. So we actually had to find a painter, which one of our producers, Sydney Miller, one of her friends actually came on as the painter for it. And she took the direction and made a great painting and she was in New York. So she ended up taking a picture of it, sending us the picture digitally. And then we had it 3 copies of it printed on canvas. And we had to score one for the hole that would match the hole. And then every time that we ripped it, we had to use another one. So it's just one of those things that you don't think about how much work it's going to take when you write something so simple in the script as, oh, it's just a gaudy knockoff of Flaming June. But you got to make that, and you got to have copies of it. It's a lot more work than just writing something on the page.
Yeah, and you write, he accidentally rips a hole in it.
Yeah.
And now you've created a couple weeks of trying to figure out how to make the perfect rip.
That's it. Exactly.
Crazy.
But, if it was easy, everybody'd be doing it, right?
That's right. It actually is true. I'm sure there's a lot of, well, I mean, I obviously see a lot of films that we don't show in the festival. And yeah, there is nothing like comedy that doesn't work.
Yeah. I know, because I made a bunch of them.
It's hard to believe, but all right. Let me see. I actually, you already covered, I got questions from the jury here. One was, what were some of your style inspirations and references? But I think you covered that pretty well. And another was shoot length. Covered that. All right, so you actually covered their questions just naturally doing a film festival Q&A. They didn't even have to raise their hands.
Great. Well, I wish there was an audience to raise their hands. I mean, when you do these Q&As, that's kind of one of the best part is when somebody
it's the best part.
And question that none of us had thought of.
Yeah, we're in a well, you haven't been to our festival before, but we're in a small neighborhood theater in Sherman Oaks where it's 91 seats and it's not super expensive. The projection is good but not amazing, but because it's a bargain, we can show 30 minutes of films and then talk about them for an hour,
Right. That's wonderful.
And then do another 30 and then talk for an hour because if you're paying outrageous amounts and paying for insurance and everything to be at the ArcLight.
Yeah.
That's why you have everybody All right, you show eight shorts, and then everyone stands up and waves to the crowd at once, and then you say goodbye because
Yeah.
yeah, just talking about film is so much fun. That's why I'm actually looking forward to the next Zoom mixer, right? So that people will
I'm
have
definitely looking
some of
forward
each
to it.
other's work.
Yep. No, it'll be good for sure. Cool.
All right. Well, I think I don't have anything else for you, and I promised myself I wouldn't go too long with these because when people are, even though it's online, people are going to watch. I think the the block you're in is, you know, a good like 30-40 minute block, but I wouldn't want an hour and a half of talking afterwards.
Yeah. Longer than the actual shorts.
Well, that's normal. I think that's kind of normal, especially when you have that audience, and Lord knows, like, when the day comes that you get to play this for I don't know if you got to screen it once or twice before COVID.
Yeah, we have. So it's been good. It's good. This is our first online festival, and I'm really proud to be with Film Invasion LA on this. And I love what you guys are doing to support twisted comedy shorts like ours. So yeah, good stuff.
Thank you for making a good film, man. I love it. And
Pleasure.
twisted comedy, send as much twisted comedy as you've got our way, because I love it.
Sounds good, man. All right, we'll get you another one next year.
All right.
Perfect. All right, nice talking to you. We'll catch you later.
Thanks, Nickolas.
Thank you.